go. I got to lean in.
Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to another recap review for the Real Housewives of Potomac here at the Lean. I am here with Dream and Sammy to talk about the reunion part one. It's been a minute. Well, it's only been like 2 weeks. How long has it been?
2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's been a minute, but you know what? We are at the final stretch of this season. And although I was quite bored of the season, I will say, I kind of am enjoying the reunion. I don't know. And I thought this would probably be the worst reunion because someone, Karen, was not going to be there. But I don't know. I think it may just be just fine. We'll see. I don't know. Sammy, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. I had to get my little nap in before we did this. I'm up now.
You know, I had to go. Let me make sure because I don't want to get the time wrong. The last time. So that's good to see you here. What's going on, Dream? How you doing?
I'm doing really good. Same as Sammy. Woke up from a little nappity nap. Now I got a little drinky drink. It's gonna be a good show.
I do tell me to get mine in a minute. Yeah, I got mine on the counter.
Well, listen, today is I'm not celebrating this holiday, but I am off today. So of course I'm gonna take the off day, right? But no drinking for me. I'm actually on a 2-month, maybe 3-month cleanse.
Ooh.
Yes, just got to get back to me. I'm not like checking myself into rehab or anything like that. I don't have a problem. But every time around this year, I always like remove alcohol and certain things like pasta and bread that I feel like just kind of brings me down. Not bring me down. I'm sorry. They're just not that good for me. So this is my little cleanse period. But good to see y'all here. In the chat right now, we have Lisa, Ashley, BK, and BKZ. Is that BKMZ? Antonio. Hey, Antonio. I said 3 months. Yes, 3 months. Three months. It actually would have been longer, but I had my best friends come in town last week. So I had to break it for that little weekend, but I'm back on it. And yeah. So we're here to talk about the reunion part one. As I said, I really enjoyed it. So we're going to get into it. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We are back for Beverly Hills this week. Of course, we have two more reunion. Two more parts of this reunion for Potomac. So if you're watching, we got this week, next week, and the following week, and then we'll be done with this season. For those watching Atlanta, which I'm sure will take this slot of Potomac, this channel, the Lean, will not be reviewing Real Housewives of Atlanta. I've said it a million times. Want to make sure y'all got that. I would suggest you all watch at No Chaser TV. Chase, our very own, has his own channel. Y'all should know that by now. I say it all the time. But he will be reviewing it. And I think if you want the same kind of vibe with some new flavor, I think you should watch it over there because that's going to be a great place to watch it. I will be watching the show. I just won't be reviewing it. It's just not something I'm really interested in and not really going to waste my time. No shade to anybody. I love my girls, though. All right. So hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Antonio Dream said you look gorgeous. Yes, you do. He said I look gorgeous. That's crazy.
What's happening with that?
I mean, God, do I got to be a woman to get a compliment?
Oh.
All right, so let's talk about the reunion. We know that Karen is not there, and so we pick up with the beginning of the reunion with this footage of Karen kind of speaking to when the charges were put on her when she was found guilty on I think it was the 24th, something like that. I don't know when it was.
The 20th.
The 20th, right? So she's all at home and she looking all cozy. She talks about how she just how she feels and how the news got out, how she's gonna move forward. We see Stacy and Ashley speaking about Karen, asking where is she, but Ashley, makes it very known that she feels lied to for the last 3 months. She feels like Karen, knowing now that she's guilty, she held out a lot of information from them. Then we also see Karen and Wendy asking also where is Karen. I kind of feel like they already knew that Karen was going to be there. I don't think it took for them to look at the name. I think they knew. And so, but Karen and Wendy actually called Karen. There's no answer, and Wendy feels like, well, dang, I thought she at least answered the phone. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't know why Wendy thought why she went. I mean, they already had issues. I don't know why she thought that, but we'll talk about that later. So they all sit down. How do y'all feel about the reunion looks? Do y'all feel like anybody looked better or worse? Like, who was your fave watching it live, and who was your worst? Like worst dressed? Before I get going, I'll start with you, Dream.
Honestly, nobody really stood out to me, but I do feel like Giselle looked good and Wendy looked good. I feel like that's the only thing I really noticed, to be honest.
You said
Yeah.
Giselle.
Giselle, I think Giselle looked good. Her little cutout in the chest, her little cutout in the hip, her body looks good. It
Yeah.
was cute.
Sammy.
Yeah, Giselle and Mia were my favorite too. I think Kiana looked better in person than I thought she did when the looks came out. Ashley, she looked worse to me. Her and Stacy, I didn't really too much favor Stacy's look on camera. Like her wig was a little bumpy and the dress looked a little slightly too
It did
big.
give like she had some cornrows underneath it. I mean, she probably
Oh
did, but it
yeah.
looked real humpy, you know.
Yeah, it was the
Um,
lip too for me for Stacy. It looked a little crusty. I didn't like the red.
I thought this is probably this is the best Giselle has ever looked. She did, give a little, maid of honor,
Yeah.
matron of honor ish, but it's okay. Like I think she looked really good. I'm not saying that because she usually looks bad, but she actually looked really good. She was a pleasure to look at. I will say that. So I agree. I think many people will say that. It's crazy because I had a friend that said she was best dressed, and we was like, I don't know if she was best dressed, but I think she looked the
She
best.
looked the best.
Her whole presentation looked the best. I did like other dresses, but it looked like some of the dresses were the same. Like maybe they went to the same designer.
They used the same stylist. One lady styled them all.
They must have picked the same fabric. He must only had like 8 pieces of fabric and said, "This is the choice," because they all look like I can see it. I wish they would go to their own different designers. I don't know. Maybe they
was doing that before and it wasn't working out too well for everybody.
They were doing that, but was it a choice that they had? Did they have to go to? Did we know this? I don't even know. Like
I know that it was a lady and she just commented when the looks came out that she worked with everybody and they were fun to work with. So I think this is probably the first time that they all used the same.
Well, kudos to Giselle for actually looking good and actually looking the most unique, because everybody else kind of looked like something together.
Them all together though, all together they looked cute.
It was cohesive, yeah.
Yeah, cohesively, yes, they did. But if you pinpoint, you'd be like, Ashley's. This always looks like she's playing dress up, like somebody's like. It always looks like someone's giving her a makeover. It doesn't look like she just fits in what she's wearing, like not fitting like body wise, just like it doesn't look like it's her. I don't know what's Ashley. Yeah. I just always see cheap. I'd rather her just continue to look cheap than trying to look like some expensive, because
actually the only girl I know that her makeover looked like it needed makeover. I just didn't like nothing about her. The hair especially.
All right, so they sit down and they start out by saying that Wendy kind of pops it off by saying she thinks it's kind of, so he announces that she has checked herself into a rehab facility. He called it something else. And Wendy says, she feels it's very interesting that she chose to go to rehab before her sentencing. Mia agrees. Stacy says, give her grace. And Wendy's like, no, like we're not gonna sugarcoat. We're not gonna be cookie cutter about it. We're going to talk about it. As her friend, we can hold her accountable. Like, because this is what real friends would do, right? So then they go ahead and show a video that has not been shown to everybody, not even Andy. And it just basically shows Karen giving thanks to everybody, announcing where she is going to be heading to, which is the rehab facility. It shows her thanking Giselle, for number one, Kiana, Jazzy, and even Candace, who is not on the show. And basically, she says these four women have been like by her side. They've checked on her and supported her through this time or whatever. She makes a comment and says that she will not be coming back as the Grand Dame. She come back as Karen Huger. And so after this, Giselle is already kind of emotional, something we usually don't see. The most we've ever seen her be emotional about was her father. But this time, I mean, I don't know if it was real or fake, but she kind of was like, in her feelings or whatever. We know that Giselle and Karen have always had a, relationship, like we see each other, but I think they are friends genuinely. However, they do see each other, right? So while Giselle is emotional, Wendy is not. And Andy asks her about it. She basically says that, it just goes back to, she's sad, but it just goes back to what she came to know that Stacy told her as to what Karen said about her. And so then they talk about Wendy not being thanked. And she says, seeing that, now she knows that is not her friend. And so Giselle says, well, girl, you kind of knew. Like, I've been telling you this for years. She really never sorry for you and things like that. But then Wendy kind of talks about how she's always supported her, not like on and off camera. She talks about, they show the montage of her throughout the season, her choosing to go to Karen's event first. her choosing to just kind of like dead any situation, any conversation that was brought up about Karen and things like that. And Giselle just kind of says like, listen, you should have acknowledged it when I said it. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, Giselle, I feel like you're speaking more to like the old thing they used to have between them two, because we know that Karen and Wendy had an issue in the past, right? And I feel like that's what Giselle is speaking to, which is not making it better for the current situation, if and whatever was said. So Andy mentions the comment that I brought up about her coming back as the Grand Dame. I'm sorry, coming back as Karen and not the Grand Dame. And so they kind of talk. He says that speaks volume to him. It is confirmed that Giselle is the person that gave her the title Grand Dame, not Andy. I forgot she did thank Andy too, and Andy was kind of shocked by that too. So then he asks a few questions he takes a few viewer questions where they're upset, kind of with her holding out on the lie. One caller, or not caller, one viewer basically said that he lost someone to a drunk driver, so there's no sympathy that he has for people like Karen. She should go to jail. And then Mia's like, okay, well, Mia was like, well, I said, I told y'all she needed help, and I'm like, girl. So I'll stop there and get y'all's thoughts on this first segment while I run upstairs to get my hookah. But Dream, what's your thoughts on all that?
Well, in Karen's video, when she said I was going to I need to give a special thanks, I really genuinely thought she was going to say Wendy. Because I thought maybe she watched the show back and saw that Wendy had her back in multiple situations, or she shut down certain conversations without Karen being there. But when she said Andy, I spit my juice out dead A, because Karen, rehab or no rehab, is shady, and I don't know, I still live for it. As far as the comments about her timing of going to rehab, I mean, kind of like Giselle said, why? That's what anybody would do. Do what you need to do to get the less sentencing, period. But she did mention taking antidepressants and alcohol at the same time, which would kind of make sense, because when you watch those camera, the footages, she was gone. It wasn't just drunk to me. It seemed like it was
she was like, when they were saying she was tired and she wasn't all the way there, it kind of makes sense that she was doing more than drinking when it came to
And I don't know, she just seemed, for the videos were wild. She was wild. It didn't just seem like drunkenness to me. So I mean, if it was antidepressants and alcohol, then I'm happy that she's getting some help. Maybe she genuinely does need help in general, because this has been rumors going on since Charisse and Robin. So I mean, shout out to Karen for finally taking this time to take care of herself. Unfortunately, it took this extent for her to wake up or realize whatever. But I mean, I'm not mad at her for taking responsibility now. But yeah.
I mean, I agree. I'm sure it's a lot of us that probably wouldn't take responsibility for things that we weren't forced to. So I don't see this kind of being any different. I do find it odd that Wendy was the first one to question her reasoning for doing it, and then she kind of feels well she wasn't mentioned in the video. Initially, I watched it twice. I watched it last night, and then I watched it again today. And last night when I watched it, I was like, damn, Karen, it's kind of cold that you didn't thank the lady, even though she has been riding for you. And even with that said, I think she's probably still should have gave some type of acknowledgement to Wendy for that. But then Wendy goes on later on in the episode and she said some things that were kind of it made me question, were you really riding for Karen? Was it genuine? Or were you just playing a role? Because you mentioned later on to Kay that, all of a sudden you have all these cons about being Karen's friend. So to me, it was kind of the same thing that Stacy did when she got upset with Karen and she started throwing out all these things. And one thing she said was that Karen enjoys that mother goose relationship, and if she doesn't feel like that you kind of need her outside of the group, that she just does away with you. So to me, it was like, well, Wendy, were you genuinely riding for Karen, or were you just keeping her by your side so she would make things hard for you, especially since you already had issues with Giselle? So it kind of made me question how genuine their relationship was. I figured they probably got over what was going on prior to, but for Wendy to toss all this stuff out there now, it's like you kind of probably were playing a game and Karen just probably played it a little bit better than you. And hell, if I can probably pick on this and say, well, were you genuine with Karen and y'all's friendship by kind of keeping her close? Maybe Karen probably already knew that for herself, which is why, girl, I'm not going to thank you in my video. We can stop playing this game now and just go ahead and have whatever type of relationship we do or don't have. So I don't know. I find it flawed that Karen didn't thank her because Wendy was riding for her, but at the same time, Wendy kind of told on herself with the remarks she made after she wasn't thanked in the video.
Do
Mind you,
y'all think that Wendy was expecting her to thank her?
she absolutely was.
You think so? You think she was gagged that she didn't?
She absolutely was. And she really thought it was going to be her first when she said the first person she wanted to thank. She thought it was going to be her. She was not expecting it to be Giselle of all people.
See, that's the issue that I've always had with Wendy, even liking her, is that when something is like so clear in your face with her, like she always tries to act like she's surprised. It takes me back to seeing her, you know, trying to speak and talk to Giselle that one season when she know damn well she was not on good terms with her, whatever the case may be, you know. She knew damn well that, like, that to me was like, okay, y'all know y'all don't like each other, but she's trying to speak to her, and she got an egg on her face because Giselle was like, oh no, I'm not talking to you. So even taking it back, I mean, taking a step forward to this current season where you see her call Karen. Why did she even think that if she was gonna call Karen, that she was gonna answer the phone for her? And why even make the comment about saying, like, what kind of friend? Y'all not on good terms, girl. Like, I'm just saying. I think there's just something. Wendy's very smart, but sometimes she don't act smart, or maybe she's trying to play a different role. I don't know, but she doesn't come off as smart as she truly is, because you know how y'all left off. They were on bad terms. But there's footage that they haven't even shown us between Wendy and Karen, which I hate that. Maybe it'll come sometime in this reunion, but she knows that the last thing that happened probably with filming and probably with her was them not being on the best terms. I mean, I'm just saying. That's what I'm getting as a viewer, because maybe that's the reason. I mean, maybe that's the disadvantage of not having all the footage. But what I'm getting, if I'm watching the show and I go to the reunion, they ain't on good terms. I mean, Wendy was already acting a certain way towards Karen at the party, which I understand. You know, she felt slighted. She already was like, you know, taking the cold shoulder, and she admitted in this reunion that she believed what Stacy said. So it's just like, okay, if you believe that, then why are you still putting on the front now as if y'all would have some kind of relationship? And why would you expect her to thank you in this at all? Because I'm sorry, if it's Mayday, if we beefing, you're not thinking anything from me. I don't care how great it makes you look. No,
maybe it's like she didn't know what side she wanted to be on. She started off with why is she doing it. Then the video came and she's sitting over there smiling, thinking she's about to get thanked. Then she doesn't get thanked. And it's like, well, these are all the bad things about being Karen's friend. It's like, what's happening? And so it's starting to make sense. Like, maybe y'all's relationship was not as genuine as I would have wanted it to be. So,
but also, was Wendy the person, like, I think, like, a couple of episodes ago when she was basically saying, like, if Karen was found guilty, that she's going to question their friendship. Did she say that?
Yeah. So she said that in a confessional. So this is post filming, right?
Yeah.
You got to take into context. This is all like they filmed the show. They come back and do confessionals. She said that earlier. So that probably was the first half of confessionals. And then we have the second half of season confessionals. That's usually how their show, all these shows work, right? Mm-hmm. So that's just me. I don't know. Like they didn't show us what happened at the end, so we don't know. But the last thing we saw was Wendy looking at Karen crazy at that dog event because Stacy told her information, and within seconds, without even trying to give benefit of the doubt, she had already believed that that's what was said, and she was already giving her the cold shoulder. Is that not what happened? That's the last thing we saw. So that's all we can really go off of. I'm just saying, as a viewer, unless they show us otherwise. All right, so I'm gonna move on because we got it's more coming about that. So they go into a whole thing about, and I honestly I'm not saying that Karen didn't say that because I said that last. I do believe she said that. Right.
Yeah, she did.
It's just that, I mean, is Wendy surprised? Is she not surprised? Is she still want to be a friend? She not be a friend? Like it's kind of weird to me. I don't know. So they go into a montage of Wendy's year. You know, she turned 40. She went to the White House. She had a great year. Happy is taken off. She was kind of like a middle ground for everybody in the group this season. She was that girl. She really was. And I think it was owed to her because she's had a very rough last few seasons. She had a season where they was coming for her marriage, and the season where somebody threw water on her, a drink on her. So it's just like a lot going on, right? Kudos to her for having a great year. So they talk about in this segment her making up with Giselle. Giselle says that they sat down and listened to each other. That's a lie. I think production sat down and told y'all to make up because y'all are making this show look really crazy on many levels, from freaking what's it called, from colorism accusations and all these things. Like, it was a lie. So let's not act like Giselle. I have enjoyed Giselle this season, but let's just be real. Y'all didn't listen to each other, okay? Y'all just had to come together for the sake of the show. They talk about Happy Eddie, and they ask Stacy about Happy Eddie. Stacy says it's great. The business is gonna be booming. And Giselle was like, "Well, wait a minute, ain't you gonna be starting, Happy Stacy soon?" And Stacy's like, "What are you talking about?" She was just like, apparently you went to somebody and said, "I'm a celebrity," to get them to work with her to get her own, cannabis business off of the ground. And she's like, "Yeah, no, that's not what's happening." She denies all of it, right? And she's like, "Well, don't be surprised if next season she comes out with Happy Stacy." And then, Wendy's like, "You wouldn't do that, would you?" She's like, "No." And they talk about how, she had the candles first and Karen had the candles second, and blah, blah, blah. So then after that, they talk more about Wendy and her trust fund for her kids. And I actually like her, the incentives and the stipulations. I think that's actually really great. Because it doesn't, she's not saying they won't get anything. It's just that you get this, this, and this if you do this. I think she kind of set a path for her kids without setting a path for her kids. That makes sense. Like, they have options that they can take and opportunities they can take advantage of. But if they choose not to, then hey, so if it was me, honey, I would get a master's degree. I'd be AKA, and I would do all these things. I want all the money.
Ebo and all that.
Now, I'm gonna speak Ebo. I'm gonna do everything that damn wheel and trust fund say, because I want all of the money in my Jocelyn Hernandez voice. Give me the money. So then she does say that she regrets taking Karen to the White House. And ladies are like, "Woo, dang!" She's like, "Yeah, I do regret it." She says she does. And they talk about obviously what Stacy told Mia about Karen saying about her, and then Karen is like, "Well, I'm sorry." This is what Wendy says, that she did believe it. She had no reason to think that Stacy was lying. And this is where Kiana kind of comes in and says, "Well, Stacy, I just didn't like the fact that you brought it up, when you were mad at her." And Stacy says, "Well, I brought it up because, I supported her and she didn't support me. So at this point, I didn't have anything to lose. I'm going to tell the truth." I'm like, okay. And so, Wendy says, "Well, Karen told me that the woman coming into the group was, watch out for her because she's very smart. She's very educated." And Giselle's like, "Is she?" I actually laughed. I'm like, I wasn't expecting that. She said, "Is she?" And so Stacey's like, "Am I not?" And I'm like, okay, so we see that these two can have an issue next season. Giselle does not like Stacy. She is not here for Stacy at all. But she says that Stacy goes into the whole thing. She was like, "Yeah, of course she wouldn't want two like-minded, smart individuals." She's talking about her and Wendy being close. And Giselle is like, "No, sweetie, it's not about that. That's not it. Let it go. Drop it." And I'm like, okay. So then this is where they talk to Kiana about her and like what you said, Sammy, about Karen being the one to groom the new women. And when they said that, I kind of took things into perspective. I was like thinking back, okay, let me see. Because I think she does take a very motherly role to a lot of the women, definitely with Kiana, because she helped her out. Wendy, I didn't get that from her. I think that they were like not seeing eye to eye, remember? Because with the whole degree and things like that when she first came on. But I think what happened with them was that when they all came for Eddie, the only person that was on her side was Candace and Karen. So that's what I got from that. We know, she kind of took motherly with Candace, but Candace really wasn't like, she was like back and forth with Karen. She was, but then when the Monique stuff happened, it wasn't. So I was trying to put things together and see. But basically, Karen says she did not go to Tally Ho. She was not one of the ones. And she said that Karen never told her anything about any of the ladies. And so then they asked the ladies, like, is Wendy self-absorbed? And she's like, of course she is. She's like, of course I am. I'm like, well, damn, what's the real problem here? Anyway, so they give a final happy birthday to Wendy. And then Mia's like, well, what about my birthday? And then Wendy's like, oh, we're going to get to your birthday, honey. We're going to get to your birthday. And I am gonna stop there and get to y'all thoughts. Sammy.
Um, I'm all the way here for Giselle being on Stacy neck because it's become very clear that Stacy in this little oblivious role she's playing, that's not really what Stacy got going on. She probably is smart, but she's very. It seems like she's coming off sneaky, like very sneaky. I do believe that she's trying to get some type of cannabis business going. I do believe all of that. Like Giselle's not sitting over there just making up stuff. Like I haven't been a fan of Giselle. I haven't liked her at all. But I can't think of any moment where she's came on and just lied. So I don't see this being any different. I do like that she's riding on her neck though, and she's not playing with her. And as far as that, I think that's the whole thing. Wendy, it was the whole. I don't want to say alliance, but it really wasn't like a close knit friendship. They're all that they had in the group because they were not getting along with the other girls. So I mean, it just came to them just kind of like forming some type of bond so they can be comfortable around the group. But it's all playing out now, and I'm just like, oh, okay. So now it's like to me, it seems like all this is the aftermath of all that Monique and Candace stuff. Everybody grouped together to get these bonds, get these friendships, and now they starting to get comfortable around one another again. So they kind of just faring off and doing what's really real to them at this point.
Dream.
I do think that I agree with Art World. It did seem like Stacy was hiding something when she was talking to Giselle. It seemed like she kind of wanted Giselle to shut up and not to like say it in front of Wendy or in front of the group before she got things rolling, I guess, completely. So Giselle giving Wendy that little pre-warning, I guess we gotta watch out. Would Stacy be wrong if she gets in the cannabis business? No, she won't. She can do whatever she want to do, make some money, girl. But I do think that she has her foot in the door in that business. But when it comes to Karen supposedly giving like a little tidbit of the girls to Stacy, I think that's true, but I also feel like maybe all of them do that. Kind of like if you're just asking around, like, oh, what do you think of Ashley? And they just give their opinion. I feel like Stacy just chose coincidence. Like Stacy's tactical. She has a strategy with her. She knows what she's doing, and I feel like she used that piece that Karen told her, because I do believe Karen told her that, to her what is the word? To her
advantage.
There we go, to her advantage. Like I'm pretty sure Wendy told her about Giselle. I'm pretty sure Ashley said some things about so-and-so to Stacy. I'm pretty sure Mia told Stacy about Giselle and Karen and this person, but you don't see her just bringing those things up. So I said at the beginning, I think like maybe the second episode, to watch out for Stacy. I would watch out for Stacy because she is sneaky. Her slip is kind of showing now.
Her role that she plays it does not seem as authentic. And I'm looking at her just, I think it was until she, said what Karen said, which is great. She brought it out there. But, it's always look at people weird when they do something when they're upset. I'm looking at her. I looked at her like that. Yes, it was true, right? If it's true, sure, that's fine. But you said you want to tell the truth. They should have all been looking at her like, okay, you said you want to tell the truth now. What about before? Because realistically, you've been around Wendy all this time. So if you really wanted to be truthful, you would have brought it up. What I would have respected more, honestly, is if when Wendy was writing for Karen, that Stacy came out and said, well, honestly, I know you're writing for her, but let me tell you what this is what she said. I would have respected that more than you being upset with her. Now let's bring it out. But nobody's talking about that. That's just me personally. So maybe that'll come up. Maybe that's why Giselle is on her neck, because I feel like Giselle looks at that like you kind of sneaky. I'm not really a big fan of Giselle, but I do think sometimes she does see things, when she's not being Giselle, like, with all that neck and all them ankles and whatever else Jasmine says. I do think she does see things. I think she is seeing or has seen the real Stacy, and she may be giving us a glimpse of what is to come. That's why she hasn't been. If you notice this entire season, she's been okay with Stacy, but she hasn't been like the closest with her. She's kind of been like, okay, like she around, but she ain't like really went on no one-on-ones with her. And Giselle is honestly. So whereas they say that Karen is the one that likes to groom the new girls, Giselle is the one that likes to haze them. So it's like I don't know. Like it's kind of hard to see both sides. I gotta see how this play out for me.
And Giselle said that on Watch What Happens Live, though, she had mentioned like Stacy playing a role, and if she comes back, y'all will see who she really is. And I think that's why Giselle just don't see it for her. But
What?
Kiana did mention to Stacy that it was kind of foul to wait until that moment to tell Wendy, but they never went into it. They just let
Yeah,
it.
I mean that's to me it's just like, and I mean that's what I feel like Kiana was trying to bring light to it, but they kind of let Stacy slide out of it, in my
Mhm.
opinion. But maybe they just not gonna talk about it. They'll just talk about it on camera next season. Maybe I don't know. Maybe to come up later. I don't know. But I would definitely be looking at her like, especially knowing what we find out later with TJ possibly being, on the market in the cart. Just saying. Okay, so then we get Jazzy. Now, I did not think Jazzy was going to be on this reunion. I thought when she gave her story in that interview to Carlos King, I thought they would not ask her back. Because I mean, usually when people do stuff like that, she already told the damn story over there. So why have her there? I mean, I thought she was great, to come, but really all she had going on was her little scenes with the group and then her man. So they bring her out. We find out that she is engaged. She has a wedding date. She actually has the invite with her. She listen. I would rather her bring an invite for a prop than any other props that I have seen they bring on this show. Because honestly, outside of that little burn book, all the rest, I think all these props have been horrible. Let's never forget. What's her name's little? What she brought her little receipt? She brought. What was her name?
I know you talked about she bought
Yeah,
the tweets on the paper, and they weren't
yeah.
even in color.
Exactly. Yeah, like I'm glad it wasn't anything like that. So we'll take that. Make sure y'all hit this like button too. I know y'all see Amanda and Art World and Antonio saying hit that like button. Hit the like button. Keep us in the algorithm. Keep us afloat. Yeah. So back to this segment with Jazzy. Although she says all the women are invited. And they kind of question her about her basically being a side chick. And one of the questions asks her about being a side chick and addresses Mia like, well, Mia, give her some advice. Weren't you a side chick? I had to rewind that because I thought I lost complete contact and there was a question from a viewer. I thought it was a question from Andy. I was about to go off because I was like, why is he calling this lady a side chick? But I was like, wait, he's reading a question because it was such a long question that I forgot that it was a question from the viewer. That's me. So anyway, Jazzy just basically says that she didn't know about the other woman. First she said that she didn't know about her. She didn't know about anybody. Then she says that, he said that they weren't together and it never gave side chick Monday through Sunday. And I was like, girl, it definitely gave side chick. You giving side chick energy, no shade. But hey, listen, if at some point in life, we've all been on the side of somebody, right? I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm speaking of my life. I'm just talking about it. Any thoughts about Jazzy and her whole side chick saga?
I like Jazzy. I would have liked to see more of her throughout the season. Hopefully, she comes back. But she definitely was some type of side chick. Either way, she wants to act like she didn't know. I mean, then she's trying to do the semantics around it. Well, the girl said they weren't together, and the girl said this, but it's like the girl got on social media and she said a whole bunch of other stuff. So, I mean, at this point, just say, listen, it is what it is, and at this point, me and him finna get married. But
Right.
she gonna have to just own that and put it to rest. But I hope she comes back. I enjoyed her being on there.
Well, she wants to come back. Clearly, she has latched herself on to Stacy. That seems to be her friend now.
Yeah.
And I think Stacy will be back next season. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't bring her back. Now, if she declines, that's her. But I think Stacy has grown fond of the camera and she likes being on it. I do think that. Dream.
Yeah, I definitely feel like Stacy will be back. As far as Jazzy, she literally listed everything that a side piece is. They don't know if the guy's dating anyone. The guy's gonna say he's not dating anyone. You see him whenever he sees you, and you don't. He says he's single. Like, ain't that what a side piece like role is? You don't know what the hell's going on. You just, but whatever. Hey, I'm happy for her. She's getting married. Shout out to her.
Just because you don't know that you're on the side does not mean he's not. I'm just saying, we've all been in situations where someone may have left out the truth. That's why it's always great to ask people, are you with somebody? Are you seeing somebody? Are you sleeping with somebody? We typically as human beings, we just don't do that because we thinking about whatever we're thinking about. Sometimes, right? I can say I've been there before, but but once you find out, it's about what you do when you find out. And it seemed like when she found out, she said, "Hey, listen, it's my man now, Barbara." She said, "Shirley, I'm Barbara." That's what she said.
But shout out to her boyfriend or fiance. He's part of the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, shout out to him. Like, she seems to be doing. She looked great too. She did look good.
She did. She looks good.
Her segment was so small.
There wasn't much to it. She didn't.
But that's all she gave to the show, really. I mean, that's all we saw, right?
Yeah.
But before, she's still there. So, any other thoughts about Jazzy as relates to this right now? All right. Quick super chat from Love. Hey, look, I just saw Love last week, and we had a bomb time at my Super Bowl party last week. I will show you the pictures, but I'm not doing that. Love said, "Y'all are fine as hell. That is all. Like, comment, subscribe, y'all. Smooches. Thank you, Love, for the super chat. Love is actually on our Beverly Hills panel, so you can watch her there. And of course, like and subscribe, as we have been saying this entire time. I'm looking at some of the comments from Scorpio. Is there anyone who think they are in a relationship or with you? With me? Or is this just a question?
No, he's saying that's one of the questions you should be asking, to make sure that you're not.
That too. You listen. These days, you gotta ask all the questions.
You gotta ask it all.
People will say, "Well, you didn't ask that." I mean, they will do that, and it's not just men; it's women and dogs, cats. They all just lie. It's because they can, right?
Right.
But yeah. So moving on. So then we talk about GNA. So I think Jazzy gave the title, was it Gangsters and what's it called? What was it?
Gangsters and Alcohol.
Gangsters and Alcohol. So they talk about GNA. They show, like, everything Giselle and Ashley had going on this season. They both were dating. They both were dating men at the same time. This is where we see Ashley's boo and Giselle's boo. So we find out in this moment, he asks her the question as he asked her for the last 2 years, "Are you divorced?" She says that everything's been filed. They both have signed everything. But it's not official. But I believe, I didn't see this, but someone just told me before I came online that she confirmed today or yesterday that it's official, that she is divorced. So kudos to her for being divorced. Now let's see what else she has to do and what's going on. And she is getting child support with no alimony, but Stacy is the opposite. She's getting alimony with no child support because she waived child support. I guess Ashley didn't have that. It don't sound like she had that option to waive. She had to take what she could get.
She said she signed off on it in the prenup.
Yeah, right, because of the prenup. That's right. All right. So yeah, that's crazy. She says that now, because I was under the impression that was not the case. A couple of years ago when we first broke the news that they was getting divorced or headed for divorce, it sounded like she had all her things in check to get money, but it sounds like it was a lie.
And didn't she go back and redo the prenup to like a post-nup or something? So it's like, girl, what the hell did you put in there then if you still not leaving with alimony?
So I don't know what she did, but she's getting some damn child support. So that she getting something, right? She can add more into her damn Barbie house. So then we find out that I haven't been to the website because I'm not checking for those clothes or those. I mean, when I go work out, I don't think of GNA. I think of Nike, things, Adidas, things like that, brands that mean something. I know, but apparently they're not even selling clothes no more. And per Ashley, it is a community outreach program or something. Basically, they're gonna. I don't know what the hell, but how we go from having a fashion show to community outreach, whatever. They said they both had things going on in their lives, and what I heard, it's not what they said, but we ain't finna fund that. We ain't got the money to be funding that right now. Like, it ain't gonna work out. We can't dress. We tacky. Let's just give advice about working out or something. That's what I got from it. That's me, my square. So then Mia is like, okay, so then what's next? And then Giselle's like, well, we'll see if you're invited. Why are you asking? I'm like, oh. It's not surprising seeing this Giselle, because Giselle was really like this last year. Remember when she was at it with Candace? I guess Giselle is truly tapping into her, like, mean girl energy. It's like, which I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it in this moment because I'm like, okay, obviously Mia was poking to be. She clearly already said earlier when she gave her a compliment, I know you don't like me right now, but you look great. So you should know, like anything you should be asking. You should be asking about what I got going on in my business. You don't really care. And I also feel like the tone when she was asking, like, what's next? Is it a nonprofit? She was trying to poke. So hey, she got back what she dished out, in my opinion. So then they talk about them going to Karen's event over GNA, and she already admitted on the show, but Giselle says that she was truly upset, more so at Karen. Jazzy was like, "Well, girl, you could have kicked us out silently, like you didn't have to do all that." And she was just like, "I apologize. This was not directed at y'all. This was really at Karen." So Ashley, before Jazzy leaves, she says, "Okay, so girl, listen, what happened in Miami for Mia's birthday?" This is news to me. So apparently Mia sent an invite to only, I guess, Jazzy and Stacy within this group, inviting them to Miami for her 40th. And they decided to go. They confirmed they were going to go. And they got there and Mia ghosted them. She paid them dust, basically. Showed up to the restaurant hours later, whatever it was, act like they weren't even coming. So, she denies it. And Stacy ready, she pulls up a text message. She gives the text message to Andy. Andy confirms that she confirmed she was coming. And then when she got there, she says, "I'm here to celebrate your birthday, yay!" And there was no response from Mia until 12 a.m. the next day, in which the response from her was just like, "Where y'all at?" After getting to the restaurant, y'all not here, basically. Stacy is like, "That's rude. That's just unprofessional. That's disrespectful," and all these things, right? So then once he confirms everything that Stacy said was the truth, Mia says, "Okay, so what's the problem?" I'm like, "What the hell? What you mean? What's the problem?" It just didn't make sense. I don't know what Mia got going on. That lady is just all over the place. But to finish this out, they asked, was Jacqueline there? Apparently Jacqueline was there. And Jacqueline is the one that told them that the reason why Mia didn't give a damn about them is because Mia was so busy running behind Ink. That's who she was worried about. Whether she was doing the do or whatever, she was not worried about anybody but Ink on her Miami 40th birthday trip. I don't know if she went with other friends. Well, obviously Jacqueline was there, but maybe her, Jacqueline, and Ink were allegedly having a threesome. Who knows? They had sex in the past, right? Maybe that's why they didn't answer the phone. With Mia, you never know, right? I don't know. So then Wendy turns and she says, "Well, listen, the thing is, the real issue is that you only invited these two women, which shows that you don't really care for anybody else. So why would you slight the only two friends that you freaking have? Like, why would you what I'm saying? Why would you do that?" And so Mia just starts crying, and Wendy's like, like every time we come at you, you want to start crying. Like, no. She just kind of starts crying and says she's going through a lot. She effed up, and she kind of makes herself into a victim, and she has all these things going on. And they just like, "Girl, like, listen, whatever you're putting out, that's fine, but no, you're a bad friend." She acknowledged she's a bad friend and everything else, but she just basically was announced as another damn liar again. So, thoughts on this drink?
I think that Giselle's comments, excuse me, I feel like Giselle's comments this entire time cracked me up. Because when Stacy's like, "You're a liar, you're a liar," I don't know if y'all caught Giselle's like, again? It's like, yeah. And also whenever they pulled up that part, and then also Wendy, I like the fact that Wendy called out Mia's crying antics because somebody needed to. You can only go so far with the whole crying, trying to make yourself seem the victim to get the heat off of you before you need to start taking ownership. And I'm glad that Stacy kept her receipts, because I do feel like receipts are needed when it comes to like this group of girls, because it's always he say, she say stuff. No one ever really has any proof. So I'm glad that Stacy has something on documents. As far as Mia, I don't really have too much to say about Mia, because she always makes it seem like G is the one who's unstable, but just within this little scene with her, she went this way, and then the next way. Maybe she's the one who's unstable.
Mia. I know it's your turn, Sammy. I don't understand. Like, you just can't be that horrible of a person, can you? Like, Jesus, like, how do you? Like, okay, it's one thing to go somebody and mess up. I get that, right? Like, that's horrible, but wouldn't you have not tried to clean it up before the reunion, or at least when it's brought to your attention, you acknowledge that it happened? Like, why would you blatantly lie? And mind you, this is you're lying to say that you didn't know somebody was coming, as if they don't have the receipts. You have to know, unless, especially, I mean, if I text somebody, like I cannot lie and be like, I didn't, you didn't know. Baby, there's receipts there. And I'm a receipt king. I have text messages way back to 2011. Okay.
Oh
And
my God.
yeah, because you ain't nobody gonna ever tell me that they didn't say something. Hold on one second. I got it. So yes, I say all that to say, like, why even like lie and why continue to lie when you caught in a lie? It's usually time to just confess up, but she still was lying and didn't want to, and literally said, okay, so what's the problem? The problem is you lied, you knew they were coming, and you ghosted them, and you didn't even fix it because she said, I spoke to them since then. You clearly did not, because if you did, they wouldn't be coming at you as hard as they were right now. They would not be. And it was right, it was rightfully so. Like I would do the same thing, because why would you lie?
Yeah.
And if I were Stacy, I would be pissed too. Don't have me travel. Don't have me travel to go see you for your birthday, and then I don't see you. You don't reply to my text messages. I only came here for you, girl. So Stacy was rightfully upset, and I'm glad that she was on Mia's neck.
Sammy?
I mean, y'all summed it up. I think nothing annoys me more than somebody who just straight up just lies for no reason. Like you said, you had they replied to the point of contact, and then the text message come out where she's speaking to you directly, and then your response is, "Well, what's the problem?" It's like Mia just this entire season, she has just carried like a heavy case of stupidity. Nothing made sense to me in this moment when it came down to that. How do you invite these girls to celebrate you in Miami, and then they get there and they don't hear from you? It's like what? And then your whole thing was, I'm just not a good friend. I have a lot going on to where I can't be a good friend. Well, girl, why did you invite them? Why did you invite them? And then when they get there, you don't think, well, let me try to reach out and let me like try to reel them back into what I have going on right now. It was just dumb, and I'm glad that whenever she did reach out to Stacy, Stacy didn't acknowledge it. It seems like Jazzy did, but Stacy was like, you didn't speak to me. You reached out, but I didn't respond. Because like, what are you doing, Mia? And
She went all the way
I
around
have
it.
a lot going on. It's like, girl, let's save that BS. We don't. I'm sick of that. The whole go like, stop. You're not that damn stupid. You're doing stuff intentionally, and now that we're calling you out on it, instead of you just saying, you know what, I was wrong, I apologize. Now you try to make it seem like they're making up stuff, and then when the truth comes out, it's like, well, what's the problem? Listen, Mia, she's a fool, and I'm glad that they're not falling for her stuff when it comes to this whole Miami situation.
They're not falling for her stuff. I mean, even I didn't mention this earlier, but when they were talking about, Ashley's divorce and Stacey's divorce, and then he went to me, asked about her divorce, and she was like, "Oh yeah," yeah. Everybody was like, "Oh girl, oh please," that was, "Oh girl, please, you ain't getting no damn divorce." Like this group is honestly fed up with Mia. Like I think 100% everybody's like over her, and I think that's why she's emotional, because I think she sees that now she truly has like nobody. Like honestly, she'd have been better off being friends with me, not me, with Karen. I mean, making up with that, because yeah, you already at odds with Giselle. You didn't say something about her daughter. You know she ain't finna let that go at this rate. I mean, and then you had two friends, like Wendy said. You had Stacy and Jazzy. You have somebody that's not even a damn flu holder, who clearly, I mean, no lie, you can tell Jazzy is trying to keep herself aligned with somebody to keep herself around, which is smart. I guess it's got to be Stacy, which is also has her foot in the door. But it's just like, why would you like bite these people that are actually trying to somewhat be friends with you? It made me feel like, okay, well, how does Stacy feel now? Like, okay, well, because let's not forget, Karen told her stuff about Wendy and Mia. So does she now feel like, okay, well, was Karen possibly right? And then also, I don't know, like even just earlier with Stacy, when they were going at Karen, and then Stacy was like, give her some grace. I'm like, huh? I just need these women to just be consistent. Because they just all over the place sometimes with what they're trying to do and say. Like, why give her grace now? Like, you just said that she did not come to your aid, so you aired her out for this, what she said. What kind of grace? Just let it be what it is. Like, I was with Wendy on that. To close out this episode, we see them go on break, and Mia, her little Betty Boop hair, she goes to the back, she walking on to the back, and she goes to Stacy's dressing room, because Jazzy ain't got one. I guess Jazzy had to get dressed in the car because she had no dressing room. So she goes to the dressing room and she tries to apologize again, and is very like, heartfelt about it. And Stacy's like, honestly, I feel like you're doing that because, we called you out and it just doesn't feel genuine. We just cannot receive an apology from you right now. So Mia's like, I appreciate you for listening. She walks out with her little Betty Boop hair and she just crying or whatever. And then they fast forward to her in her dressing room. Honestly, I'm gonna tell you right now, that audio, and I went back and listened to it. That audio of her crying was the same audio from her crying in that episode, like 2 or 3, when she was crying in the bathroom. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I don't think she was. I think she may have been crying, but she wasn't crying that goddamn hard. I'm just gonna say that. That was the same audio. Go back and listen to it. Go back and listen to it. They put that on there to make it seem like she was boo-hooing. She wasn't crying that damn hard, but she says she's about to get ready to leave. And that's where the episode ends. So next week we see that Wendy's gonna reveal some stuff about TJ. What else did we see next week? We saw what else happening in the next episode? Did I miss?
Mia walked off the stage saying,
it seemed like they coming at her again. She want to walk off, and like I said, they just over her. And yes, Mia is a bit deranged. It's kind of crazy to seeing her just fall apart on camera. But I don't think anybody feels bad for her, because it's like, how can you just feel bad for a blatant liar? It's just
she's been lying. This is just what she's
been lying forever. But now it's like the lies are just. We should say I'm about to say the line is always moving. The lies are just all over the place.
Yeah. And everybody's clocking her lies.
Everybody's clocking her lies. I feel like she thinks she has an ally within Wendy, and she don't even realize that Wendy still don't care for her. That's the crazy part to me. She keeps turning to Wendy, and Wendy is not studying her at all. She gonna call her out every chance she can get. So, any final thoughts on this reunion part 1? I thought it was pretty good, pretty solid. My expectations were low, but I will say they actually exceeded them. It was actually pretty entertaining, and I'm ready to see what happens in part 2 and part 3. But any final thoughts from either of you before I let our caller on?
I felt like Wendy definitely spoke up a lot more this reunion as versus any other reunion, in my opinion. We heard her loud and clear. People didn't interrupt her when she was speaking. Maybe they have a little bit more respect to her name, even though she has how many degrees? 4 degrees, 3 degrees, 4 degrees. Also, Giselle and Wendy were the MVP to me of this part 1 reunion. They made me laugh. Honestly, they're calling out everyone's BS, and I was here for it.
Sammy?
I share the same sentiments with Dream. Giselle has been the highlight of the reunion for me so far, which is unfortunate, but
that's so crazy.
Yeah, it is what it is, I guess. So.
How did we get here? This is crazy. All right, well, listen, we got a call in the queue. I'm gonna let them on. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Because you should hit the like button and stay subscribed. No Atlanta, Beverly Hills is going to be on Wednesdays, and I'm not sure what our next show would be following this, because I don't know what's coming on. They announced the news about Jersey today, and based on what they announced,
what they say,
they said that allegedly everybody been fired except for Dolores and Melissa, and Teresa is only going to be on with a spinoff. I said, whoa. So I don't know, I don't know if y'all gonna see the Orange Shirt Bandits, Sammy and Danny this year. I can't really say right now, but a show with Dolores and Melissa anchoring it, I don't know if that's something I want to be a part of. I don't know. That's just me. So let me get this call on and let's get it cracking. Hey Lisa, how are you?
Hi.
Hey Lisa.
Hey.
How y'all guys doing?
We good. I'm gonna let you speak. I'm gonna let you speak.
I can't. Can't y'all hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. Let me go ahead and say this. From my point of view, it was okay. Reunion. Hold on for you 1 minute. Get off. There you go. Yeah. It was. I don't know. Wendy, to me, was the VIP. I don't know who be dressing doing Wendy to make up, but they be right on point, baby. I love Wendy's dress. I do. I really do. But I don't know. Wendy came kind of hard this year. I mean, she came out hard at everybody like what? But I do think she looked just a little bit self-absorbed. Just a little bit, because I used to get tired of her saying, I got 4 degrees. I got 4 degrees. You know what I'm saying? So I believe Kevin is a little bit like that, but I did skip the part when they got to Kevin. They started talking. I skipped to that part. I ain't want to hear nothing because I'm a big Kevin fan, even though I'm disappointed in her. And like I said last week about because I'm on antidepressants, and this definitely tells you do not drink alcohol with antidepressants. Any kind of that medicine like that they take, do not drink alcohol. They tells you that. I don't drink alcohol when I'm taking my medication. And so, I mean, that's why when I heard that last night, I really got kind of mad at Karen because you ain't supposed to be drinking no alcohol and you plus you were driving. And to me, you made a selfish decision to get in a car and you know to make a selfish decision towards your family. You made a selfish decision towards society because you could have hit somebody and killed somebody else's family. Then also you could have when you hit that tree, you could have killed yourself. And it's like you being selfish towards your family. I know you got a lot of stuff going on and you can get over the stuff, so but you got to be careful when you taking those pills, y'all. I'm just saying that's why I'm just a little bit upset with Kevin over that. But did y'all not catch this right here when I think she said Wendy said that Kevin said that Stacy was smart and educated. Giselle said smart and educated, huh? And I'm like, I don't know, like Giselle. But when she said that, girl, I holler. I'm sorry, I just holler. I really did. And I'm like, where is Mill speaking up somebody child side chick? You was the side chick. Your husband was married. Your man was married with to another woman. Y'all were having sex on the beach in Miami. It's y'all what? Good. And I'm gonna tell you like, and I'm gonna go through this right here. Child, why would y'all? I mean, I would not be mad because Jacqueline told y'all, baby, she worrying about ink. She busy chasing out the ink, trying to find what ink doing. And I mean, that was what it was all about. So ink. And she said Jacqueline told y'all she ain't got time to worry about you because she chasing out her penis, honey. She can't chase out the penis, so she worried about y'all, okay? So and I'm like Cortez said, I'm glad people be having receipts nowadays and show the receipts because you just don't know what nobody said. And yes, I cannot stand Stacy now. She can leave and walk out the show, baby. Because I'm gonna tell you something. Just like I said, now if I tell you something, they say you get mad, you gonna start telling everybody. Okay, because because I ain't come to your event or I won't walk in your event or something. Okay? Now I'm not coming to your event. I don't want to come to your event. I'm not doing your event. And now y'all got to watch out for Stacy. I mean, this you low down and dirty, and we see you now. How you move the groove. How you move the groove. I see how you make you move the groove. That's all I got to say. I can't wait till next week episode. I'm like y'all also said, Miss could go with them crocodile out the tears. She can go by a biz because you don't lie so much, girl. We can't keep up the lies. And I'm like, Giselle, I'm tired of your lies, baby doll. Now, if Bravo buy Phaedra for lying, why they can't buy me for lying, okay? And let's get on with it, okay? But I love you, Cortez. You told me you wasn't going to have no show today. And I would expect you to come on.
Well,
But I love you, boo.
My bad. I said we possibly wasn't because I was off today, but we on here now, right? So what's up? But yeah, thank you, Lisa. I had to mute you because of the echo, but I know you finna get off. So thank you for calling. Okay.
Thank you, Lisa.
All right. Okay. Well, listen, we don't have any more callers in the queue. Y'all done dropped up out of here because y'all got what y'all needed, I guess, and that is what it is. So on that note, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. We will be here next week and the following week for part 2 and part 3. Thank you, Dream. Thank you, Sammy. Thank you, Lisa, for calling in. Thank you, Danny, Amanda, Art World, Naya, Curtis, Antonio. Who else in the chat? BKZ. Everybody that was watching today, thank y'all for watching. We'll be here next week and we'll see y'all next time. Okay, you have a good night and peace, peace, peace.